Hey, welcome to A Game for Your Thoughts. Today we're talking about Mirror's Edge. So Mirror's Edge is a game that came out in 2008, 2009, and it was released by EA and DICE, and it's like a free-running parkour adventure game is probably the best way to explain it. So the story of Mirror's Edge follows a person called Faith Connors in a city called Glass. And Glass is a special city because it's like a perfect utopia where data is like monitored and really watched and nothing's really secret. Everything is very open. But there's these people called runners that do transfer data across rooftops. They're like parkour masters, run across the rooftops of Glass and transfer data from people to people. But one day there's a murder of a mayor campaign and Faith's sister Kate gets blamed for the murder. So now Faith must save the runners from an evil plot and also clear her sister's name. So the story of Mirror's Edge was fine. I really liked the world. It was interesting and the idea of the runners was really cool, but like beyond that, it's not really anything that interesting or special. Not a whole lot of interesting stuff happens and it's pretty predictable. Like there's one part where there's like this assassin character that pops up and they're like, oh no, who's this assassin character? And one of their friends conveniently disappears about the same time the assassin character pops up. So it's like, I wonder who the assassin character is. It's not very difficult to figure out what's going on. It's very easy and a very straightforward plot, which was fine because the gameplay was really the big thing. So let's talk about the gameplay. So the gameplay of Mirror's Edge is really different. So it's a parkour freestyle game adventure, and so what you do is you basically have a point A to point B and you have all these different objects and parkour moves that you can get from point A to point B. And at first it was really interesting. I was super into it. I was like, this is actually kind of cool. But one big thing is this game is all about like getting a flow, getting a nice speed going and like moving and dashing through the places. But for a game that's like all about getting a flow and moving pretty quick, it does a really good job of killing your momentum in a lot of different areas. The parkour freerunning itself is actually pretty smooth. It moves and plays really well. Sometimes it's not the best, but all in all, I'd say it moves pretty well. It just, like I said, that has that flow. It kills a lot of momentum very quickly. It gets you moving pretty quick, and you're like in the zone where you're moving and jumping and finding things to move around. And it's really cool and really entertaining. But then you hit a bunch of these walls and these parts that just really kill a lot of your momentum, and you're kind of just sitting there waiting or like looking around trying to find the next place to go. And it's just kills that momentum. It has a really weird pacing that makes it hard to really get into the zone when you're free running because you get moving and you're really quick and you're jumping around and you're like, this is awesome, and then all of a sudden you quickly stop and it all of a sudden just kills all that pacing and that momentum. And it's not a really good gameplay flow, as it just never really gets you in a zone and you never really get comfortable with anything. It was unfortunate because it's a really cool gameplay loop. I mean, it should have been interesting. They just do a bad job of keeping it moving. It stops so much, whether if it's a story moment or some environmental thing or even the controls being a little weird for you. There's so many different factors that play into really killing this momentum, and it really hurts the overall experience. One thing I will absolutely give this game credit for is the graphics. The graphics are really, really good. I played on a really low-end PC, so like the graphics for me weren't that great, but I could definitely tell that they were really awesome. They were really solid. One thing that's really nice is everything is white, and it just is very interesting to look at. And then it uses colors to kind of help guide you in directions. And I thought that was really neat. It was a really good level design that I was like, I appreciate that. I like how they use the color to show you where to go. Red is a very good color to follow, so follow the red. And it's great. I thought that was awesome, and it just was really appealing to look at. Along with the graphics and stuff in the story, they have spots where it's a little animated cartoon, and it's actually pretty cool. The animation style is really neat. It's very sharp, very angled, and it's kind of just interesting. And the voice actors did a pretty good job. I mean, it's nothing too crazy, but all in all, this game is a pretty good game. I want to say it's the best thing ever. When I started playing this, I was like, I gotta see what this is all about. I'd never played Mirror's Edge before, and I knew a lot of people were super into it. It's kind of got this cult following, and it was interesting to play it because I didn't really get it. I didn't understand why this game has such a big following or why it's so successful, per se. It was a fine experience that I had fine time with. Definitely at the end, I was getting really sick of it. There was a lot of parts, and that ending was just really killed a lot of momentum, and it was really frustrating. Speaking of frustrating, one thing I do want to talk about is the combat. The combat in this game is pretty bad. I really did not like the combat, and that was one of the biggest things for killing that momentum. The whole time this game is saying, don't go to the enemies. If you see enemies, turn and run away or find a different way to go around them. But then you get to parts at the end of the game where it's like, oh, you have to fight the enemies. There's no other way around. And the system that they use for the combat isn't really made for that. It doesn't really work like that. And it was really frustrating, and it was kind of really killed a lot of the enjoyment of the experience, especially at the end when I'm like, the story is really culminating into this big thing, and it just I was getting frustrated with the gameplay. The parkour was getting annoying with how easily it killed the momentum. The combat was getting really frustrating. And by the end of it, I was really sick of it. I almost didn't even want to finish it just because I was like, this isn't even fun anymore. And there's no like bosses or interesting like standout moments. It all really just moves by pretty quick. It's just a very kind of point A to point B experience, and it's pretty forgettable in the middle. I mean, honestly, I'm having a hard time trying to remember any like specific moments or set pieces. It's just a pretty overall forgettable experience, and which is a bummer because I certainly see some potential here. Like I said, the gameplay was really cool, and the story was neat, and the world is cool. They just didn't really capitalize or use it in the most efficient way. There was certainly a really solid idea here. It just didn't get used in the best way possible, and it was very unfortunate because there could have been a lot of potential here. So in the end, would I recommend playing Mirror's Edge? Sure. This is a hard recommendation because it's not the best thing ever. Like I said, I didn't really enjoy it by the end. I probably won't ever play this game again just because of how lame that end game was. Just I did not have fun with it. There certainly is a lot more game modes that can help with doing that. There's like the time trials and things like that. So that was enjoyable because I was all about trying to go fast. But same thing, there was parts and moments that really killed a lot of the momentum of the free running. And it's just unfortunate because there was a lot of potential, but it didn't capitalize on it. And in the end, just made it for a very okay game that I'd say maybe give it a try. I think you're just fine skipping this one, but if you're interested and want to try it, I guess get it on sale. I mean, I got it for like $2 on Steam, so that would probably be the way to go. I wasn't into it, and it was unfortunate because I was kind of excited to see what this game was all about, and in the end, I just kind of came away pretty disappointed. Hey, thank you so much for watching A Game for Your Thoughts. I really do appreciate you watching the video. So let me know down in the comments below, what did you think of Mirror's Edge? And if you want to help me out, if you want to hit like, subscribe, and the bell to get notified every time I post a new video, that would be amazing. And if you want to see more of me, I'm over on Twitch at twitch.tv/gameforyourthoughts. I'm streaming there all the time, and I would love to see you there. Thanks again for watching the video, and don't forget that the key to success is succeeding, and we'll see you guys next time on A Game for Your Thoughts.